Good morning. So I did a video yesterday, and it's interesting because as soon as I share something, it's like boom, something else that I feel like, oh my god, I really need to say this. So today I'm going to be talking about uh, loving yourself and loving where you are in life right now, and kind of things that have helped me along my journey. Which, just to give you a kind of a bit of information or a bit of summary of what I've come along, like go back 10, 12 years as a teenager, I absolutely hated myself. I hated who I was. I was had suicidal thoughts every day. I i had some sort of hope because I would just say, okay, well, I'll just do one more month of life. Sounds ridiculous now to say, but there was obviously something in me that was pulling through this darkness. And it wasn't as much, I realized later on, that I hated life. It was just that I hated myself. And then going through loads of journeys the past years and loads of deep work and lots of things. Even 2 years ago, I was like, yeah, I love my own company. I like who I am. I'm confident, but like, love myself. Like, I don't really know what that looks like. I don't really know what that feels like. And then the other day I was like, oh my god, I really love myself. And like, by loving me now, it's helped me accept who I was. I love the person I'm becoming. And it's really like our internal world is our external world. So when you love yourself, well, when I love myself, I love everyone. I can accept everyone for their, even with or without their flaws and their things that they do that I don't think I wouldn't do myself anymore. And it's just like, we're all along a journey. We've all done things that we're not proud of, probably, that we've lied, we've been deceitful, we've been selfish, we've done things. So if you look at all these people that you maybe hate on, they're just doing kind of like bigger versions of things that we all do. Like, we're all human, we're all source. So it's just about like loving and accepting all of us, loving our darkness. And the more you accept yourself, the more you can accept and not judge others. So it's like the internal and external journey is basically the same. Like, if you have repeating thoughts and you don't kind of delve in to look at your programming and why you think the way you do and why you act the way you do, and you continue through life with these beliefs that you're unworthy and you're unlovable, then situations are going to keep playing out in your external reality too, like ending up with the same guys that treat you like shit, and you're like, how did I end up here again? Because you didn't change anything, you didn't do any work. It is hard work, and work, external of the connotations of like showing up somewhere and doing something for someone you don't like. Work is in the way that it's, you have to persevere, you have to persist. It's not always nice or pleasant or easy, and it feels like you do loads and then you feel really good, and then one day I'll be like, oh my god, I feel really shit about myself. Like, it's not just like, oh, self-love, tick, done. Like, on to the next thing. It's like perpetual. You have to keep going, keep flowing. It will kick you over and you have to get back up again, and you get kicked down again, get back up. But it's just like, the more I progress through this journey, which is not a straight line, it's like it's not, essentially it's a piece of string, and there's an end and a beginning, and that's life. And then there's like a huge knot in the middle, and you sometimes feel like you don't know where you're going, or you're back where you started, but you were never back where you started. It's the spiral. So where was I going with this? Self-love. So loving yourself and loving also where you are in life, because you might really love yourself, but you think, this isn't where I want to be, this isn't what I'm meant to do, I don't like my job, blah 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 blah. And then through that, you may put some self-blame on yourself. It's like, well, if I was doing what I needed to do, then I wouldn't be in this shitty position. I wouldn't be facing these challenges. So again, it's that internal external, like it really is mirroring, and it's not necessarily mirroring in time. Like in my experience, sometimes I'll like have a huge breakthrough inside, and I'll like release this memory that was at the root of me feeling so ugly, and then it takes a while for the physical world to catch up. And I think this is getting faster, and it can happen overnight. Like suddenly someone's just like, hey, do you want to like come and work with me on this farm? You're like, oh my God, that's exactly what I needed right now. But sometimes it does take a little bit of like catch up time for the external world. So it's kind of like finding the peace between where you are now and where you want to be, because the feminine's all like, which I got stuck in a bit, like, oh, surrender, like life, I'm just gonna go with the flow and everything's gonna come to me, and and like everything's set out and la la la. And then it's kind of like, no, my masculine's like, no, you still need to be focusing on what you desire. It's good, so good to have desires, and you can manifest them if you want, but it's more like finding peace. Like, okay, yeah, look, I would be pinching myself if you told me that a year ago I was gonna be living this life, and then still finding happiness in where you are now, and still holding on to your desires, so that you're still reaching, but you're not like, I'll be happy when, I'll be able to do this when, the whens. It's just like excuses. You've got to look at your story and reframe it, because if you're just like clinging on to these things that have happened and everything's so hard because of this, like, yes, okay, yeah, it's hard, but how can you reframe it to be like, wow, if this hadn't happened to me, then I wouldn't have learnt this, I wouldn't have grown in this way, I wouldn't have realised this, I wouldn't be where I am now. So just like stop making excuses, basically. Like look at everything in your life and think like, what do I get to do today? Not, oh, I've got to go to work. It's like, what do I get to do? I get to go to work and I'm going to receive money, and with that money I can do almost anything. And then if you're stuck in a rut, you're unemployed, it's like, okay, well, this obviously isn't working. I'm at a really lucky crossroads in my life where I get to take a turn. I get to think, okay, maybe where I thought I was going, I'm not. And right now, this is really confusing, and I feel so lost, and I feel like I have no purpose right now. But this is these little rock bottoms along the way is the perfect place for us to sprout up and be like, what do I want? You know, you just got to kind of lean into those things that are taking your fancy. Really getting out your comfort zone is the main thing, I could say. Just like, and if it scares you and it's not actually dangerous, just do it. Just try. And if you can't do it yet, just try and step a little bit closer, maybe try something a little bit less scary. Like for me, that thing was speaking out loud. So it was just like slowly just doing like speaking on stage, doing an open mic, doing a spoken word, and like it made me feel so scared and nervous. But each time, like, I'm not completely where I want to be yet, but look, now I'm doing a video. That's obviously a big step from where I was a year ago. So it's like looking at your stories, thinking, kind of looking at your common low points, like how have I been feeling when I'm feeling my most low, maybe disconnected or unworthy, and just looking at these and be like, okay, so I've obviously experienced these depths of horrible emotions, and now I've obviously experienced them for a reason. So how can I reframe these as like an opportunity for growth? Like, what have I experienced that no one else has? Like, I fully believe that you choose your life, you choose your family. So it's like looking at why would you have chosen this family, this time to come into, this town even to come into, like all of it. How has it helped me? What has it shown me about the world that A, we need to change, or that B, we need to keep. So it's looking at the good and the bad and using that to build this new world that we are creating together. So another part of it is looking at your thoughts, looking at your thoughts that are telling you that you're really shit in any way, or that where you are in life is really shit, because it's not true. So it's like looking at these and being like, okay, cool, I hear you. Like, how can you use these to then change, to make change? Like, use these thoughts to inspire you, not to let you feel lower and lower about yourself. So if these thoughts are telling you that you don't try hard enough, you never put any effort in, it's like, well, listen to them. Maybe what can you do to try a bit harder? And if you're not trying hard enough, maybe it's because you're not inspired by what you're doing. What can you do? You know, it's just really looking at the thoughts that are arising and greeting them and taking them and thinking, what can I learn from this? What can I change? What is this telling me? Because it's not about getting rid of the bad thoughts for me. It's the bad thoughts are great because the bad thoughts give you so much insight into what subconscious programming you're still running. Like, if you're still having these same thoughts, you're not changing anything. So love them. Like, yeah, they're really hard to deal with when you're in that deep glut, but maybe write them down, and then when you're not feeling so low, when you're having a kind of good day, you can look into them and be like, okay, what can I do here? And you can write them down and you can meditate and you can really go deep and you can ask your higher self or your guides to please show you the message in these thoughts. What can I learn? How can I grow? So yeah, so just finding inspiration in everything we do, which is the same with people. Like, if you're stuck in a kind of rut where you find yourself comparing yourself to others, this is also a really good tool, because although when you're in the moment you probably won't feel so good about yourself, but it's like you're only ever comparing yourself to people who are on a similar path to you. Like, say a man, I don't know, say a guy, he plays football on Sundays. He's not comparing himself to some life coach, some guru. He's comparing himself to the footballers he sees on TV. You know, so like, whoever you're comparing yourself to, you're within arm's reach of them. You're very close to them. And think about the people that you're comparing yourself to that 3 years ago you didn't even know existed, because you've grown so much that now they are on a similar frequency to you. And if you're one of these people trying to figure out what you're doing in life, you look at the intention behind why you want to do what you want to do. Like, for me, I don't really know what my intention is, but when I go deeper into like why I have this urge to like spread my message and say, do these videos and post these things, it's because deep down I have this like deep desire for just people, all beings, to kind of realize that we are power, we are love, we are light. And just, yeah, it's hard to put into words, but if I take that intention and I look at some people that are maybe where I could see myself in 5, 10, 2, 1 years, whatever, and I look at what they're doing, they're on the same mission as me. Like, we're all doing it together. Like, it's no competition. It's, we're all doing our own thing, and it's really just about going into your truth, because there's always going to be someone more pretty, more creative, more wise than you. So wherever you are in life, there's always going to be someone you can compare yourself to. So you just got to stop it now, because the people that you're comparing yourself to, if they haven't got their shit together, then they're comparing themselves to someone else and they're still feeling shit about themselves, when really we're all where we need to be. We're all doing what we need to do. And inspiration flows both ways. Like, so many times in my life, I've been so inspired by someone and I've told them, they're like, what, you inspired me, you know? And we don't always see it or realize it or believe it, but just because someone's earning more money than you, or they're further down their career than you, or they've got more love than you, doesn't mean that they're any better than you or that you can't inspire each other. So it's just turning all of this stuff in our head into inspiration. That's like quite a good question to ask yourself, I guess. Like, how can I see the inspiration in this? Like, what's my deepest intention? Because the more we come into our truth, and the more we just like get rid of these masks that are telling us how we should be, what we should be doing, seeking for approval, wondering what people think, they're just keeping us down from just being like, oh my god, I'm just like, I'm Source expressing herself through this body. I will never exist ever again. This is really fucking exciting. And when I speak from the heart, it's like, it doesn't matter what other people think, because I feel so good when I'm saying these words, and more so than for others. Like, yeah, for others too, but for myself, it's just like reaffirming these things that I think, and just the vibrations flowing through my body when I speak all this stuff. I'm just like, yes, I'm just like listening to my own words, because these are not my words. They're just flowing through me right now. Like, none of it is ours. All of our creations, that through art or dance or music, it's coming from Source. So it's like, it doesn't matter too much what people think, because it's not us. It's just flowing through us, and it feels really, really good when it flows through us. So how to conclude on this? Basically, just look at everything in a different light. It's like half changing how you're looking at your story, how you're looking at what you're doing right now, how you're looking at your past. How is all of this building you up to this person that you're destined to be? And the other half is actually taking actionable steps, just doing little things in the right direction, just little things that scare you, or little things that inspire you, or every time you feel inspired, just set aside some time to like flow with it and go with it. Because so often we go to an art gallery, or we go for a walk, and then we don't give ourselves space to actually like flow with what has inspired us and what has ignited things in us. So just setting aside time to actually create an outflow. And if you're already an artist in your work, it's like also remembering to set aside time for your own flow, rather than what you're contracted to do, or what you're trying to sell or whatever, you know, because that's great too. But yeah, so I hope this video has inspired you. If it hasn't, it's inspired me at least. So I hope you have a really blessed day. I hope you realize that you are so powerful. You are love and light. Like, you are Source. You couldn't be more perfect. So really believe it, because it really is true. And I love you so much. And thank you for watching this far. And blessings. Have an amazing day.